Hey everybody, welcome to another online session. Today's topic is Sikhism. We're going to break it down into three segments. The first is how did Sikhism start? What were the origins of this religion? Second, we're going to look at the major beliefs, the basic beliefs of Sikhism. And third, we're going to put it into its historical context. How does it reflect the big picture themes of time period 4? The turn of the 16th century in northern India was a major turning point about to happen. The Delhi Sultanate was in a decline, and the rise of the Mughal was about to happen. But the people of northern India were at constant conflict, mainly because of religious differences with Hindus and Muslims. This is the story of the rise of Sikhism. It all starts around 1499, as a young man named Nanak, who was born in the Punjab region of northern India. Nanak constantly questioned things around him. He didn't quite understand why he had a different education than a Muslim boy. He didn't understand why, just because he was Kshatriya caste, while he was given certain rights opposed to those in lower caste, especially the untouchables. And he also didn't quite understand the differences between the treatment of men and the treatment of women. Growing up in the society, he begins to question these things. One day when Nanak was 30 years old, he went to the local river to pray, taking part in his basic Hindu rituals. But this time, something happened.
Nanak thought about God all the time. In the morning, in the inky blackness just before dawn, he would go to the river to pray.
During his prayers, he vanished. He disappeared. No one could find him.
Nanak, where are you? Nanaki, it's been 3 days.
He can't be dead.
They found his clothes along the side of the bank of the river, but no Nanak. Where could he be? What could happen? After 3 days, they practically gave up, thinking that he must have drowned. And suddenly, who appears? Nanak, coming out of the water. At this point in time, he said very little. He was silent. People wanted to know what happened to him. Was he okay? And finally, he eventually spoke, saying the words,
God is neither Hindu nor Muslim. So whose path shall I follow? I shall follow God's path.
Nanak would later reveal that in his absence, he visited God.
Be merciful as I am merciful. My name is God, and you are my divine Guru. It is time for you to begin the work for which you were born. Go, Nanak, spread love, glorify my name, destroy hypocrisy.
After this, he returned to deliver God's message to all those willing to hear. And he would go on voyages all around India, into Persia, even to Saudi Arabia, to bring his message to others. And with this is the beginning of Sikhism. To understand the basic ideas of this belief system, take a look at the worksheet and put these terms into the columns you think they belong. Were these things influenced by Islam? Were they influenced by Hinduism? Or were they challenges to either one of these religions? Now take a look at this film clip that shows other aspects of Sikhism.
Truth above all. Above truth. Truthful conduct. If you do something, do it well. Do not cheat. Do not lie.
When I heard there was a holy man in town, I had my servants prepare a feast.
Will you share my bread?
Did you earn your bread by honest work?
Yes.
Eat my food, Guru.
Your bread is earned by the blood of those who do your work for you. He who eats what he earns by hard work and gives with his own hand, he alone knows the true way of life. You know, you can't take your money with you, but you can take your good deeds. Feed the hungry, clothe the naked, house the poor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, go on.
Thank you.
She's an untouchable. Now you will have to purify yourself.
Because I touched her? God made her, and God's spark is in her.
Now, Guru Nanak was not the son of God, simply has the title of Guru, meaning teacher. And it was his job to tell others about God's word. After the death of Nanak, he passed on this role of Guru to others. And there was a total of 10 Gurus that lived over the next century. The 5th Guru, Arjan, began to write down the words of the Gurus into a book. By the time the 10th Guru came around, he said there will be no more human gurus, and the Guru, in fact, would be the completed book called the Granth Sahib. So today, the Guru Granth Sahib is the Guru, it is the book, and it'll never be a human again. Now, Sikhism is a monotheistic faith believing in only one God. Their place of worship is called a Gurdwara. Any place that contains the book is a Gurdwara, and it really is open to anyone who wants to come and listen. One of the main functions of the Gurdwara is to provide for the community. Part of being a Sikh is to give back to those who need help. And part of that is serving the community in what they call the langar, a huge community feast that they feed the public every day. Anyone who wants to come in and have a meal is allowed to do so free of charge. It's part of the Sikhs' way of giving back to their community. I was looking online, I saw this man named Jangraj Singh. He's a Sikh expert. And he compared Sikhism to the movie Matrix. So I'm going to take his idea and share with you this scene from the Matrix. Take a look.
It is. The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
So the basic idea of Sikhism is that there is this sort of illusionary world that we live in. And you need to decide for yourself if you're willing to take the path to find the truth and to live that life of truth. It basically comes down to the individual wanting to find their own truth. And it's not about ritual, it's not about being a Hindu or a Muslim or castes, right? It's all about the individual finding the truth for themselves. And so hopefully you saw the connection with the scene from The Matrix as Neo, the main character, gets to decide should he take the red pill or the blue pill, right? The fate was in his hands. Which way will he decide to go? If he wants the truth or if he just wants to go back to this illusionary world that's around him. The world of material goods, the world of things that you can't take with you when you die. Now, Sikhism was a religion that was developed to unite people, to bring people together, Hindus and Muslims together. But there's a turning point that happens that changes the game. That turning point happens at the time of the Mughal leadership of Jahangir. Jahangir was threatened by the popularity of the Sikh movement and the Sikh guru, and therefore decided to arrest Guru Arjan, tortured him, and eventually killed him. This had a major effect on the Sikh community, who now felt that they were under attack by a tyrannical leader telling them how to live their lives. As a result, they began to militarize themselves to protect themselves against this tyrannical Mughal dynasty. Later on, during the rule of Emperor Aurangzeb, things got even worse. Aurangzeb was not very tolerant of other faiths and wanted to create a very strict Muslim society. Aurangzeb wanted to purify Islam, getting rid of all its Hindu influences and Sikh influences, and wanted a strict Sharia law code put upon the people of India. When the Hindu population felt threatened, they went to see the Sikh gurus for help. Why? Because they had a strong military community. The Sikhs agreed to help because they stood for religious tolerance. As a result, Aurangzeb arrested the Sikh guru and, of course, executed him for interfering with the Mughal plans. This led to the rise of the 10th guru, Gobind Singh, who many believe is the most important guru. He made major changes to the Sikh community. Number one, he gave them a uniform to wear, special clothing that branded them as a Sikh. Today, we refer to this as the 5 Ks. Long hair, a comb, a bracelet, a dagger, and special shorts that you had to wear. And this was to show that you were a Sikh, willing to defend your faith to the death. Gobind Singh also created a ceremony to initiate Sikhs into their community. And that's what he really did, was create a Sikh community called the Khalsa. And this seemed to not unite everyone, but actually began to sort of separate them from others. Part of the ceremony is similar to a baptism, but they had to drink this sugar water stirred by a sword or dagger, and drink this water to be welcomed into the Sikh community. Under Gobind Singh, the Sikhs battled the Mughals for many, many years, and eventually actually created their own Sikh empire. The Sikhs were known for their strong military. And not only did they fight the Mughals, but later on fought the British. We'll see more of that in period 5. So looking at Sikhism, how does it reflect the big picture ideas of the time period? Right? We see Sikhism as a challenge to other religions that were in power at the time, whether it be Hinduism or Islam. Sikhism wasn't the only religion that was looking to reform things or change things. We have other examples during this time period. One is in Europe, of course, Martin Luther and the Protestant Reformation. One we see in India with the Hindu religion called the Bhakti movement. We see Sufism challenging Islam in the Middle East and throughout the Ottoman Empire. So take a look at this last assignment that compares some of these movements to Sikhism. Bye.